Good evening. I do not have anybody available to ask me questions today, but I did get a nice present in the mail today. I got a big heavy box, and I opened it and I found it contained 7 language learning manuals and materials that a kind viewer like you, a guy named Nick, I'll just call him that. Thank you very much, Nick. Wrote to me a week or 2 ago, said looking at my books realistically, I realized I have some that I'm not going to get to, and I'd like to donate them to your library if you'd like them. And I said, sure, I'm not going to you described them to me. I'm not going to use them myself either, probably, but I'd be happy to put them in my library, which I hope to make available to the students in my academy and maybe more widely at some point in the future. So I've been trying for many decades now to have the largest, most complete collection of language learning books and manuals that I can. I made a set of videos about a year or 2 ago with the help of my assistant Ching Hao. We went through my language laboratory and made 5 videos looking at various things. So these books are going to go in there. So what all did Nick send me? He sent me 3 books in the Routledge Colloquial series. There is Colloquial Indonesian, Sutanto Atmo Sumarto, and Colloquial Finnish by Daniel Abondolo, and Colloquial Swedish by Philip Holmes, Jenny Savenberg, and Gunilla Serin. And then in the Teach Yourself series, he sent me, oh my God, these are really heavy. These same 3 languages. Complete Finnish is by Terttu Lene, and then Complete Swedish is by Anneli Baronius Haka. And Complete Indonesian is by Christopher Burns and Eva Nuimas. And then slightly older, also Complete Teach Yourself Complete Filipino Tagalog by Corazon Salvacion Castle and Lawrence McGonigal. So thank you very much, Nick, for donating these to my library. I don't have anything, I think, for Tagalog Filipino. I have very little for Indonesian, fair amount for Swedish and Finnish, but not any of these, so I'm happy to add them. And they all look very solid, and hopefully somebody will pick them up and use them at some point. But just looking through them right now, I recall that I made video reviews of both of these series, the Colloquial series and the Teach Yourself series many years ago, probably 15, going on 20 years ago now. And it's kind of interesting to pick them up and use them in my hands, have them in my hands again, and sort of think, oh, like I said, these are very heavy. I just have these here. And somehow I had the leisure and the time to stay here and just sit in my comfortable chair and go over these new books. Maybe not study them right now, but when you've spent your life looking at grammars and books like this, it's kind of fun to just peruse them and to see what kind of courses they're like and how they're structured. And as I said, they all appear quite solid and well done. But as I mentioned years ago, these courses, a lot of them, they're very big on graphics, all these little images and the layout, and try to have all these sort of games and different brackets and pictures, and somehow, yeah, they just seem a bit too school book, textbook-like thing for sort of my basic tastes and talents. And of these 7 books, 6 of those are like that. And if I were just to sit and want to study one of these, the first thing would attract me to say, well, I think the one that I'm going to pick up is the more textually based one. And for whatever reason, they're all in the 2 of the same series. This Colloquial Indonesian by Sutanto Atmo Sumarto. As I just sort of look through these textbooks and see, Swedish is a language that I know pretty well and like, and can sort of, don't have much to learn from this, but it's always nice to look over new books and see how they're structured. Finnish, I had a brief immersion period, and you might retain some of that. That's kind of fun to look at. I've never done any Tagalog, so it might be fun to look at that. And this other Indonesian book also looks nice, but just as a bibliophile, just as somebody who likes looking at books, yeah, Sutanto Atmo Sumarto's Indonesian just grabbed me because he must have, or she, I don't know, Sutanto, must have had a desire not to have all those graphics. There are some boxes and the like, but it's pretty textually based. But then as I started leafing through this and just comparatively, again, I don't want to say anything negative about any of the others. They're all sort of standard textbooks that have variety and a mixture of type of conversations. But just looking at the topics and the sort of some of the conversations that are in this book, they just seem to be written with a degree to sort of show a bit more about both the sense of humor in the conversations and the like, and a bit more interest in the culture that's being portrayed to us. There was something about going to a Ramayana. Here it was. So here's one of the dialogues would be, Udin, who are you waiting for? What would that be? Let's try that. Udin, kamu menunggu siapa? I'm waiting for Mariam. Menunggu Mariam. We're going to see the Ramayana dance. Kami mau menonton tari Ramayana. Haven't you seen it, that dance, before? Apa kamu belum pernah menonton tari itu? No, incidentally, Mariam has invited me. Belum pernah, kebetulan Mariam menggayak saya. Now, if you want to go out, please put on your good clothes. Kalau mau keluar malam, harus memakai pakaian yang baik. Don't wear jeans. Jangan pakai celana jana. All right, Mom. Baik, Bu. Have you got any money or not? Sudah ada uang atau belum? No, Mom. Belum, Bu. Please, can you give me rupees 20,000 to buy the tickets, food and drink, and for a taxi? Minta rupiah, I don't know how to say 20,000, untuk membeli karcis dan minuman dan naik taxi. Doesn't Mariam pay for herself? Apa Mariam tidak membayar sendiri? No, Mom, this time I'll pay for everything. Next time she'll pay for everything. Kali ini saya yang membayar semua. Lain kali dia yang membayar. Sure, I butchered that pronunciation utterly. I have no idea what it's supposed to sound like, but it's just interesting when you get some sort of textual immersion and introduction to the culture and the like. So, yeah, Indonesian is a language I never got to, never will, but now, thanks to Nick, I've got these 3 extra colloquials and 4 teacher selves, and they will hopefully fall into the hands of people who will study and use them in the near future. So thank you, Nick, very, very much for thinking of me, of us at the Academy to contribute these things to, and they will go on the shelves, cataloged and be ready to use. Like I say, I still aspire to take my library of books like this that I haven't used and won't use, but have available for use for people in my academy later on this year when we have hopefully a live retreat somewhere near here. People can come and maybe somebody who wants to actually learn Indonesian from this nice textual-based, culturally relevant, sense of humor written book can borrow it as well. So thank you for listening, and I hope seeing some new books stimulates people's desire to want to learn new languages. So thank you for listening, and good evening.